Okay, we are live, as far as we know.
Yeah.
All right, let me post this. Oh shit, the ring light's right there.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see us. So it looks like there's a few second delay, but yeah, I can see it. Okay. All right, so we'll just wait for everybody to fill in. We'll give it like a minute or two before we start the discussion.
Where can we see the chat? Only you can see the chat.
Yes.
I was just if you have like a second device, I was just going to put the thing.
Oh, true.
Yeah, let me do that too. Okay.
That's what I did with my last and only live stream, and it worked. So
yeah.
And only live stream. I can hear myself there. So it's definitely working.
Just opened it, yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, it looks like there's a nice like 5 or 10 second delay between the things we say and what pops up. But yeah, at least even if people don't show up right away or they don't watch it when it's actually live, at least it will go up on the channel. So
yeah.
They're lost though.
Yeah. I know.
It's all good.
They miss out on taking part in the discussion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see that we have 4 people, but I wonder if that's me and Pablo and Daniel and you, or
Yeah, that's us.
It's good as well because you don't. It takes away the pain of editing. Like it's up.
I know
we got
that's the first
somebody.
thing I thought about. Yeah.
Streamlines everything.
We got somebody.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Raul?
Welcome.
Oh god.
All right. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm David, and today I'm going to be talking about The Rage of Dragons with some of my booktube friends. I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Maza, if you want to start off.
Yeah. Hey guys, so my name is Masa. You can find me on MazaBooktuber and any platform: Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Pablo.
Yeah. Hey everyone, I'm Pablo. I'm a medical student over in the UK that should be really revising, but is doing this live stream instead. You can find me everywhere by my name, Pablo Suarez.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel. I am from Iron Rain of Books. It's the same name from my Instagram. I think my Twitter as well. I think, but yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, ready to discuss The Rage of Dragons. Real quick, we have a quick spoiler warning. If you haven't read this already, we're going to be discussing pretty much nothing but spoilers. So if you care about spoilers, then you don't want to watch from this point on. Okay.
Every time we mention the spoilers, I keep thinking of Pablo saying, "What are you guys talking about?"
Let me just say that chapter was so good. Every single page I was reading, I was like, I wish I didn't know this. I really wish I didn't know this.
Oh no.
Okay.
That's cool.
All right. So we'll start off with things we did like about the story. For me, I guess I'll start it off. I really like the action. There's a ton of fighting and a ton of scenes where it's just all out war, which makes sense because it is a military fantasy. So all the sword play and all the violence and all the action, I felt like really helped out the pace and really pushed you through the story. What do you guys think?
Totally agree.
Oops. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, totally agree. Like the pace, like it makes it seem so much like Paulo kept mentioning last time. Like it's a 500-page book, but it does not feel like that. Like I was pumped with the whole thing. Like especially like you said in the action scenes. Like I would get pumped like if I was working out, and my wife would look at me like, "What are you doing?" Because it's so invigorating. Like when he was like winning, I feel like so much like I don't know passion towards Tao. But I don't know. Yeah, the pace and the action in that book is just amazing, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the whole book is geared towards it being quite fast paced. The way that I think it was Daniel that mentioned that the small chapters are like scenes, and then it feels like a film. And I think it was either David or someone mentioned it. This will make an amazing film. It will be a super cool action movie, and it feels like it's geared towards that, page turner sensation kind of thing. It's really easy to read, and it's just like you burn through it.
I totally agree. And if they ever make a film, I say the director of John Wick, because this is just like perfect. But yeah, I think the action scenes are what makes the book really. I mean, the whole book in general is like really good, but the action scenes really make the story go really fast. And sorry, I just trying to think about everything.
It's fine. I totally agree. Just again, saying what Pablo said, if this was a movie, it would make a really good action movie. Just the sheer amount of, just imagine the dragons coming down and burning everything, and then you have everybody, the sword fighters and the Ingoyama, the guys who Hulk out. Like, I would love to see that on the big screen.
It would be very cinematic as well. Like, if you think of like the scenes and the whole arena type, like war games kind of thing, it's like a tight plot that you would do. So Hollywood, I'm here, just like
we're waiting.
Yeah,
it's fine.
And to think that there's
All right.
like more to it, like they could milk this for so long, kind of like Need for Speed, especially with all the books coming out. Like they could milk this so much.
Oh, for sure.
and there's gonna be 4 books too, so there's gonna be a lot too. I just wonder though if it's gonna be like the same pacing in book 2, or is it gonna be like a little different, or
I would almost think it would be faster because we've already established the world.
That's true.
And so, but it's already a really fast-paced story. So what is that going to be like? You know?
But the thing is that I don't know. Like I really want to go into the second book, but like the thing is like I don't know who said this. Sequels are not that great, and I don't know if it's gonna live. Like I'm gonna leave the dragons, the Rage of Dragons, in a pedestal so high. I don't know if the second book is gonna overachieve it or if it's gonna be like down here. I really hope it exceeds it, but you just don't know with sequels.
Yeah, I think with most fantasy novels or books, I think in general, they tend to do better as sequels than movies. I think movies typically you can expect the sequel to be worse, but for some reason when it comes to like fantasy novels, I think more often than not the sequels are usually better.
Yeah.
If I'm not,
Yeah. And I think you can extrapolate to that as well to any book really, because I think it was in the last video we mentioned that if an author has a really good, well-defined outline and they know, like they've got isolated what they want to write in every book, it feels less like a cash grab. That in Hollywood it's like, oh yeah, another one, and just do another one. Just put like, I don't know, shiny things, and that's just like $200 million for us.
Just throw the name out there, and then we'll make more money.
It's like the
It's
return
not like that here.
It's like, and I think in this case, I was watching the interview with Daniel Green and Evan Winter, and the way that that Evan Winter plots his books is very outlined based, and it's like I think he just writes a one draft, and that draft is almost like the final draft. Like everything is very planned.
Wow.
So I go with big expectations to the second one. I don't think it's going to disappoint.
Nice.
You can tell. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, Raul, he said I appreciated the world building, but the pace could have been a bit faster. So it looks like some people do want to see a faster pace. So
that's interesting. Actually, that's interesting.
I think because I was talking to him last night about it, and it's because you know how in the beginning there's like that huge battle scene, and then it goes kind of slow, but not slow, but like it still has action, but it's not like the fast-paced beginning. I think that's what he means.
I was thinking about that earlier this morning, actually, just totally randomly. So it starts off, there's action, right? They're fighting, they're having this battle, but they don't dig the emotional hooks in until page 114 or so. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, there's action, but who cares? It's just like I don't care about Tao at first. because he's just some guy, and I don't know him. Like,
It's kind of
and
like
then
how Evan Winters. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. It's fine.
Because you know how that thing you always learn in like an English class, the it's like that mountain thing where the climax is always in the middle or something.
Yeah, you
I
have
feel like
this building tension.
Yeah, he kind of does that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that's quite an interesting point, because I suppose it comes from like the perspective of what you've been reading before this book, because for us, David, I think we read The Blade itself, and that was quite
right.
I don't think it's quite fast paced as this. It's more of an exploration of character interaction. So for me, it was quite. I think it's one of the fastest paced books that I've read. And the thing is, I come from like reading Rhythm of War and like big epics. So I think that's why maybe it seemed faster than it is for me. But I do see your point in at the beginning. There is a bit of a disjunctive change from action, like overwhelming action, and then you pull back and it's like domestic life, people fight. Like, I do see that. I can understand how.
Yeah, and I think bringing on Paulo's point, like I come from reading like a bunch of Stephen King, where Stephen King goes and like talks about something that happened like in high school, and you're just like, what the heck is this? But yeah, this pace was definitely really high pace for me, because I really like that. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but what I like about the book the most is like the character, like Tao. Like, I don't know, at the end of the book, I was so like, I don't want to say in love with him, but in love with the character. I was like passionate about him. I was like, I really like him. Like, I could really connect to the character, and I was like, this is by far like one of my favorite characters in fantasy. And I haven't read that much, but like Tao was just like super, super, like I could connect with him. And I feel like the pace, getting to know him, those small moments were like big for me. Like, I didn't want it to slow down. Like, I really like the love that he gets with his girlfriend or whatever they become, and like just him taking that slow moments to like take part in Tao's life. I really appreciate it, because it's just his point of view too, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. Let's talk a little bit more about Tao. I mean, we have one, I don't want to say, there's brief moments where we see other perspectives, but 99% of the story is through Tao's point of view. And he is definitely the driving force behind this novel. I mean, anytime you add Tao into any situation, you're sitting there thinking, what's he going to do next? Like, what he doesn't really care. He just about anything else except for his mission, which is to get revenge. And it's like that he uses the rage that he has to basically inspire him, just to train nonstop day after day. And yeah. And then what was I going to say? I didn't expect it to be so inspirational. This was like, if you ever look up those motivational videos on YouTube, this was like that. This just never giving up, never quitting. You get out what you put in, and he uses the rage to just feel this passion, I guess.
And he's one of those characters that you just like, even if you don't want to root for him, like you just can't help yourself, like saying, "All right, bro, you got this. Like, you got this." Hey.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Daniel. Sorry.
Yeah, you're still muted. You're still on mute.
Still muted. Well, you unmute, I was going to say. Okay. Well, you unmute, I was going to go ahead and say, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Tao. I think that it's just an ode to consistency, resilience. Keep going. All good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why my laptop's acting weird again.
Yeah, so Tao is for me one of he has the best trait in a person can have. Just consistency, resilience, just keep going. And one of my favorite chapters is when he has that all-out battle with Jahed, but when there is that masterful change in POV, and we see that fight between them from Jayah's POV, that is so good. And at the end of that chapter, when his superior, his master, his coach tells him there is you know, you actually, this is the revelation that they're half nobles and that everything is like lessers will never be as good as nobles. And he says, you know what, I will prove you wrong. Like that determination to stand up even to your superiors, that is just, it was a very good descriptor of what Tao really is about. And I really liked that chapter. It was really, really good for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Just to say, basically, he came into that camp with this idea that lessers are just as good as anybody else. And then he finds out that Jayad actually doesn't believe that. He believes that you have to be at least half noble to be a good quality fighter. And then so Jayad basically had this mission to take things a certain way, but then Tao showed him that basically proved his point even more than he could have ever imagined. And I thought that was really cool.
But I think Winter did a great job of like picking the right point of views to change to, because if he would have done that throughout the story, it would have been kind of like, yeah, whatever. We're just seeing a different point of view. But we see the point of views that I feel like bring to the story, because we saw what Jayad was seeing Tao like before his first fight to his second fight. It's like, oh well, this guy's playing with me. Like I can't stand against this guy.
And another
sorry.
to that. No, sorry. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. I was also thinking about this last night when I finished it. That is it me or like this is Tao? Like by the end of the story, it feels like Tao is still not like he's not all the way there where he wants to be. This like all the powerful warrior he wants to be. Because even though he was fighting good, I kind of felt like he was still a bit inexperienced. You know.
So
You mean
yeah,
inexperienced emotionally or as a warrior?
I think a bit of both in a way.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he still has a lot of room, like as far as one-on-one versus other humans, just regular, even the Ingoyama, he can hold his own. But once he goes to that demon realm, they still rip him to pieces. And I think eventually that's where the story is going to go, and that fighting in the demon realm is going to be much more
Lord
important.
of Demons?
Yeah, Lord of Demons? That's what could that mean?
And I haven't even read the second one, but I'm already looking forward to that third book.
Yeah.
I was going to say, before we move on, what Maza said about the change in POV. I think I don't think there's many of them, but another one that I really liked was at the towards the end when they're fighting the Hedeni, and there is a change in POV to the massive Hedeni warrior or a person, their Ingonyama. The head, something about head splitter, head cutter, can't remember. That was so good because it was reaching I feel like the climax of that battle scene had been reached before. So it was like, what now? So what change in POV seemed like the perfect transition into the next stage of the fight. So he really knows when to just place masterfully those changes in POV.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on that, I really thought because there was so many fights towards the end of the novel that showing it from the enemy's perspective, it kind of gave us a break, because if we would have saw Tao from his perspective go and have this big epic fight and then immediately go have another big epic fight in the keep or wherever they were, it would have kind of been like hitting the same note. But because we switched into the enemy's point of view, it's like that was something totally different. And so again, just the few times Evan Winter switched perspectives, it was so cool and just added a little more to the story. Okay, should we move on? Pablo, is there anything in particular that you really liked about the story?
Anything in particular? Like, I really liked how he handled the magic system, how he played around about with the magic elements. It almost reminded me of Sanderson, how he used like Tao thinking, you know what, I've got resilience, I've got consistency, I have the will, but I don't have time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and use Ishihago as like that to bridge the gap of time, and that is so cool. That he manages to use an element of his magic system to further the plot, but it's not. So it's done tastefully. Not it's just, oh yeah, and now he became better. That's something I really like about the story.
Yeah, I would like to talk a lot more about the magic system, but real quick, let's address some of these comments.
Oh yeah,
Like we have, what was something each of you learned from reading this story that you can apply to your own life? And I
really
think
good question.
just the motivational arc of him training and saying, you get out what you put in. And I thought you can apply that to any skill, any sport, any craft, whatever you want to get good at, basically. If you work hard and you spend a lot of time doing that thing, you should see some kind of reward or some kind of results, I would think. What about you guys?
Also,
What do you think?
Yeah, I also got, like, for example, like, I consider myself a minority because I'm Hispanic and, like, you know, in the United States. So I consider myself a minority, kind of like a less. I wouldn't put it to the lesser. But just for a fair comparison, I'll put it as I'm a lesser. So I have to, like, basically go out there and get my own, like Tao. He thinks that just because he's a lesser, he can obtain these things. Like, heck no, I can do whatever I want if I put my mind to it. And he trains day in and day out. Even when he doesn't need to train, he's like, I know I got to keep going because I know there's someone out there better than me training even harder than I am. And I feel like that's something that a lot of us, like, see in, like, our everyday life. We get comfort, and it's like, no, we have to fight against that comfort, like, to get comfort and just go out there and keep pushing ourselves to become better as a person and whatever you're doing, like in your career, college, you know, whatever you're doing. I think that was a really good question.
It was definitely a good question. I think this book really reminded me of one of the, like, prime lessons or let's say lessons or mottos in my life, which is when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, I saw, like, I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but it really resonated with me, and I think it's really true that success in life, it's going to turn into a corny motivational speech now, but no, it's basically success in life is 20% luck and 80% work. Just 80% of consistency. You keep doing one thing, you'll get good at it. And you can have talent, you can have luck, and that alone will get you so far. Then you have to put in the work. And I really, I like your point as well, Maza, because I'm also, I'm an immigrant. I'm here in the UK. I'm not from here, and I've come here to take the spot of someone in medical school, and it's like, it feels like you need to prove yourself, that kind of thing. But yeah. Really, really good question.
Also, going with everyone was saying, I also think you also have a chance, like, in a way where you have a chance to do something, and, like, Tao is taking that chance to get his revenge. But I feel like, in a way, it's kind of more. He wants revenge, but he also wants peace. Well, not peace at the same time, but, like, what's the word? In a way, because I feel like the choice he has, he can choose to step down, but then that's kind of like giving in a way, but not so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Get what you're saying. Yep. All right. Okay. Let's see. The next one, it says, 1 of 10. Would you recommend these books? Let's see. 10 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, if you like stories of revenge and fantasy, then it's a for sure 10 out of 10. This is great.
The only caveat, the only contraindication for this book would be if you want, like, a long-winded, world-building, info-dumb book, because this book is just for, you know, like, my advice is, if you're in a reading slump, read this book. The best thing to get you out of.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because it's such a, like, palate cleanser. Like, if you're thinking you're reading something so heavy, it's just like, oh, what is this? But you dive into this, even if you've never picked up a book. I feel like this is such a good book to pick up if you've never picked up a book, in my opinion. I feel like it's such a good introduction to fantasy because it's so different than the usual fantasy. Yeah.
It's not very fantasy heavy. It's not very difficult to get through if you're not familiar with, like, the tropes of the genre or, like, how things normally work in the genre. And it's also because it's atypical, if you will, for the genre. So I think it's a really good way of introducing yourself to modern fantasy. Definitely, I agree.
Okay.
And plus,
See,
you run
if
with the
in-
characters. If it, like literally like in the beginning, it feels like you're actually there, which is so crazy and terrifying at the same time.
Yep. And then next question: if in Tao's shoes, would you go through all that trouble to get revenge? I mean, if you had a close relationship with your father who raised you by himself and he trained you every day, and you watched a man plunge a sword straight through his chest, yeah, I think you're going to try to kill that guy. Like, I think, yeah, at least. What do you guys think?
Most definitely. You know what, Tao's story, it gives me Inigo Montoya vibes. You know, from The Princess Bride, you kill my father, prepare to die, that kind of thing. It's like, it reminds me of that. But yeah, definitely, if someone kills my dad like that, I'm gonna chase them and fucking kill them. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally 100%, 110% would be on, like, would do exactly what Tyler's doing and then some, because I don't know if this is skipping forward too much, but I put the book down after the fight with I just my mind just went blank. The final fight, the one with the one that who's one of the three people that he had to kill.
You mean when
Kellen?
he's up
Is it
against
Kellen?
Ingonyama?
Yeah, no, the point of view. You know, we saw his point of view. I totally forgot his name.
You mean Jayed? Jayed?
Yeah, your head. There
yeah.
you go. After that chapter, I put the book down because I was so disappointed. I was like, how could you not have killed him? Like, this just, I was so disappointed. Not like in the story itself, but like where the story was heading. Like, I put the book down right there and I was like, no, I wanted you to kill him. I wanted him to like suffer. Because at first he was toying with him. I was like, oh, he's about to kill him. He's about to kill him. I was so pumped. And then I was like, what just happened?
Agreed
Yeah.
with all of you. I totally agree. But I'll actually listen to Zuri as well because I feel like Tao, he wants it so like I feel like he needs to listen a bit more because he's rushing into a lot of things. That's the only thing.
With that, well, what you just said with listen, there is this this one chapter called Listen, I think, as well, and it's just so cool the way he did it because the title is Listen, and at the end of the chapter is Yaya saying to Tao, "Will you listen? Like, can you stop and listen for once, Christ?" And it's like it's cool. It's like a nice chapter.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 pages long. It's like a cool kind of thing, yeah. But
He
yeah,
has
he's
no chill.
frustrating, man. Like I said it at the beginning, it was like, Tao, shut up! You're killing everyone. Just cut it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we could jump back on the point that Pablo had brought up, the magic system. The magic in here I thought was really cool. You have the innovators, I don't know how to say the word, but where they go like this and they send people straight up to the demon realm and it breaks people, just mentally, emotionally. And then you have people who can call dragons, and there's rules, and there's a cost to this. Anytime anybody uses magic, they risk being torn apart by demons. Anything that has a cost, I mean, it makes the magic system seem not broken, right? It doesn't seem like, oh, they need to get out of a situation quick, use some magic. It's like, no, that you might die. What do you guys think?
I totally agree. Sorry. But like, because that's what makes this book even good and even more fast paced. It's like no one is safe. Just because someone is strong, they still can die horribly, like be torn apart and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, actions and consequences. It's all about having that kind of fallback. You can't just wave things around and things happen. You need to have some sort of backbone to what's happening. So yeah, that's why I think is really good. And it's a very complex magic system that we keep finding things out as the story goes along, and things getting revealed. Like when we learn that, again, if you are like watching this and you haven't read the book, go away because it's like massive spoiler. But how they keep the dragons, like the dragon spawn or the dragon, what would they call them? Like little baby dragons. They keep them like
the guardians.
Yes, and that's how they summon the dragons. And then that kind of reveal, that information was not like widespread and was not known. But that's cool. But yeah, don't know
And
what
I feel
point I was
like
making there, but yeah.
And I feel like the magic system made the first part of the book make so much more sense because like they were taking forever to bring the Guardian down, and like Pablo said, we all I especially thought like the Guardians were there because they're people, like they were protecting them just because. But then at the end you're like, nah, they're messing with these people, like they're not really the Guardians, they're making them the Guardians. And it's so cool how it's not cool, but like it's literally like there's like the Aztec vibe, like you have to sacrifice something in order to gain something. And I don't know. At that point, I was like, "This magic system is like really like dark." Even like Tao going in there and use. I don't know how he managed to do it through through Zuri's help, but he goes in there day in and having to like feel like your guts taken out and like getting cut up every single day to get stronger. I feel like that just brings more intensity to the magic system. I really enjoyed this magic system a lot.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add before we move on to another subject for magic?
I feel like we haven't, like we there's still things to know about the magic system, and that is really intriguing, and it's what I like, that you don't reveal everything. So I'm excited to read book 2 and find more things about how this whole, because we learn the backstory of how Ishihogo was created, and the major war between the gods and everything. So definitely I want to read more about.
Sorry, but on that note, with the world, didn't kind of feel like inspiration from like Greek mythology in a way?
I'm not super familiar. In what sense do you mean? Because I haven't read Percy Jackson.
Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Muted.
Oh, shit. Okay,
go.
sorry about that. I kind of feel like because when he talked about like the underworld and the demons, my first thought went to Percy Jackson and Clash of the Titans, and in a way, kind of like what's this, the Lucifer story, like that Christian story of Lucifer getting jealous of the humans and his downfall, and that's what's his name? That's my first thought where it goes.
Yes. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I do see that when Suri was telling the Tao kind of like the story behind like how they became whatever, like the different dimension that he got sucked into, and he had to give up himself to be so like the humans could keep living on without the evil. And yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and I mean that's such a cool. I was thinking that same thing as we're going through it. I was like, oh, he's the ruler of the underworld, and he has all the bad folks who joined him, and so eventually, I know we're gonna see him. I assume, maybe in the Lord of Demons. I don't know, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool.
There's strong foreshadowing as well with Uduak saying, "There's a demon in you."
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And then also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go finish it, and I'll go on to David Pablo's point.
Okay. I was just gonna say really cool that typically in your like generic fantasy story you have the fighter and the mage, and you have all these different roles. In this one you have the main hero, but you also have the mage character, which I think is Zuri in a way, to kind of show the magic of this world. And we don't really get to see a lot or any. Does she even have a POV chapter? I don't think she does, but we don't get to see a lot from her eyes, but the information that she brings is super important just to help unveil the magic of the world. Because without her character, how would he know how to get into the underworld or the demon realm or things like that? And I thought that was a really cool just use of her character. She brings all the magic.
It's like she was telling us basically, like that's what it was. Like she was talking to us personally, but going on Paula's point about the demon inside of you, but also I feel like they all have a demon inside of them, because remember when Ta was like kind of losing it, he would see demons within everybody. So I wonder if every single person has a demon within them, and then that's when they go to whatever dimension they need to go to.
Also, I was actually thinking the same thing, but also with the title, like the Rage of Dragons. What if he doesn't really mean like, well, I mean, he does mean a dragon, but like, what if Tao, like all this fury, I mean, yeah, it's just him. This is just like he's in a way the dragon, where he's just destroying everything that gets in his way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think there's something there definitely. And picking up on what Ro is saying, Zuri was a badass in her own right. I was so sad that past tense there. I know it's that I was so sad.
Unfair.
I was just like, oh man, I was gutted. No, Zuri, man. And I suppose I'll talk about this at the end when we'll talk about the ending. But yeah, it was. I had to stop reading for a while, for a good maybe like 15 minutes. Just like I'm gonna go and have a cup of tea and just recuperate from this.
I had to double read that because I'm like, okay, did what happened just happened? Like, did what I think it just happened, and then it did. I kind of also feel like Zuri was, because you know how he just like basically shut down once he saw her like die. In a way, it's kind of like what happened to his father. It's just like these people that just die, and like it's making him more anger, and like the title for book 2 makes like a lot more sense. Was it Fire of Vengeance, I think it's called? Yeah. It makes so much sense. Like, oh, okay, we know what's gonna happen. Well, sort of.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. Not so cool. I thought it was terrible that she died. I don't know why I started like that. It was great. No, terrible. But I didn't expect her to die in this book. I was surprised. I was like, yeah, just kind of like you. I was like, wait, did that really happen? And then it did. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, just his father died and he wanted revenge for that in this story. But it's like Fires of Vengeance. That totally looks like he's going to get vengeance for Zuri. And man, and yeah, just to, again, talk about what Raul said, she was absolutely a badass in her own right. She controlled the dragon basically by herself because there was no time. And that, knowing the cost.
I kind of feel like she was sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like she was the knowledge for Tao too, because there's like it's like, since you're in Tao's perspective, he doesn't know much. Like, he knows some things, but when Zuri comes back in the picture, like, you know way more. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it was not only that ability to show us the world and being really powerful, but she was also going against all of the propriety in a very class-centered society. She was the top of the pyramid, and she was going out with a lesser, and she didn't care. So I think that makes her also very very badass. So yeah, and I had another point, but I forgot. So carry on.
Totally agree.
I feel like Evan Windsor did a great job of since this is like the Rage of Dragons and the next one's the Fire. The fuel was in this book because he lost his dad, then he lost one of his close comrades, then he lost his coach, and then at the end you're just left with losing Zuri, and it's like I feel like I kind of foreshadowed it because when she was going to go get the spawn or the baby dragon, I kind of saw it coming because Tao kept saying, but you're not going to do it, right? You're not going to be the one to like give up your soul so he can come in and help us, right? You're not going to do it. And she was like, oh, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said, you're not going to do it by yourself, right? Or, make sure to get the group. I was like, oh man, she's not going to listen to that for sure. But then, okay, so it looks like we got another comment. This is my first time watching you guys, and I'm really enjoying hearing you guys talk about it and your feedback. Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Awesome. Okay, we got another. Both of my AirPods just fell out at the same time, so hold on one second.
Your AirPods, that is canon. You have to put that in every single video now.
Okay, it happens every time. Okay, and then you all have mentioned great things about this book, but is there any feedback or criticism you'd give the author, whether that be the ending, the writing style, etc.? Oof, yes, we are going to talk about that in a little bit. We'll come back to that one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Catherine. That's Kate.
And Tao cannot catch a break. I agree. He cannot. Okay, Daniel, before we go on to any negative stuff, is there anything that stuck out to you that you want to touch on that you really enjoyed?
I would have to say it is definitely the world. Like how I said earlier about the goddess, and then would you count it as a betrayal with what's his name, the one that wanted, like, he told all these other people that she's gonna take your power, the immortality thing. We call that betrayal, or or just
I'm
being
not
a dick.
quite sure what you're talking about. The queen taking. Can
No,
you
the
repeat
goddess.
that?
What's her name?
Oh, the
The
actual
whole
goddess.
thing. Yeah, with what's his name? The one that.
The
I suppose
major
it could be counted.
corruption that
Yeah.
happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'd call it a betrayal. I mean, he's trying to turn the entire country or the entire nation against its leader. I'd definitely call that a betrayal for sure.
But yeah,
Is
that's
Oh, you really liked that part. Yeah, that was a twist. I did not see that coming. Just for all the things that Tao had to endure and all the huge threat that the Hedeni posed outside of their country and by invading and finding out that there's no way they can win this war. I did not expect the corruption, which I guess maybe I should have, but that was a nice little twist for sure.
And more on the plot as well. I personally appreciated the political subplot. What was his name? Odili. Odili? But the one that basically did a coup and tried to seize power. I just like politicking in my book, so it was like a nice cherry on top. And it was a good plot twist as well, like the fact that when that Jayed's daughter was in that she was sent to the Hedeni, and then she summoned the dragon, and that was the reason why the attack was happening. That whole thing, that was a good plot twist.
Right now that Paulo brought up the subject about the coup, I don't know. Can we move on to the bad stuff, David? Because that's my thing.
Sure, move on to
like the stuff that we didn't like about the book, like the criticism towards the book.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because like I said, when it gets to the coup part, like I thought that we were just totally gonna forget about Tao's vengeance, and I literally put the book down. I was like, and I want to go play some video games. I can't read that no more. Like, because I felt like he was going to exactly. I thought he was gonna go somewhere else with the story and just forget about Tao and stuff. And I was just like, what's going on? But yeah, that's my only criticism. Like, but then at the end, it all made sense. But I just didn't like how. The only thing I did not like was that he didn't get to kill any of them. Like, I think he only killed one of them, but I would have preferred or liked it if. But I didn't write the book. If he would have killed all the people that were involved in the dad's death.
So you mean that you were like you would have preferred if he didn't take that side, like winded kind of way to get to the end of like him being with the queen and all that. Like you didn't like that sort of separation, bifurcation in the story, is what you mean?
Well, not necessarily. Like I did like it's because maybe because I went from seeing the fight and then hoping that he was gonna kill him to like something completely different for the coup. Like I mean, it did make sense at the end, but I just didn't like the whole change of scene. Like really, not drastically, but kind of like going from him almost being able to kill one of the people that killed his dad to just basically just talking about partnering up with him and trying to help him. I was like, what the heck.
The one thing
I agree though. Yeah, sorry. I thought that was a bit odd too, because I don't know, we see how Tao grows and the way he's doing stuff. I would have expected for him to actually kill him, like go after him in some way. Like it was just, I felt like it was a bit out of place in a way, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe the one thing that I liked the politic part of it, but the one thing that I realized is that when I was reading that, I suddenly was more worried about the coup itself, and I forgot. Whoa, there's like 3 trillion Hedeni like knocking on the like. It was a bit of a lot of things happening. It was like at the beginning again, too many things for your brain to compute. It's like that kind of thing. So I do get it. Maybe he could have separated those 2 things, like the coup and the battle. But yeah.
Yeah. At first, I was a little upset that he didn't kill Kellen, but then I guess it kind of grew on me. Them fighting together on that one battlefield when he's already in Ingoyama and he has to save Zuri, and just the picture, like if this was a movie, seeing one of his most hated enemies and him rushing by his side and they're both just fighting all these people would just look really cool. And then I guess Kellen didn't want to kill his father, and he went so far as to kind of disobey the order by cutting off his hand, which is still a horrible thing. he definitely needs to kill the other one, the guy who plunged the sword through his chest, and obviously Odili, who ordered it. But I don't know, Kellen. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay with letting him live in this situation.
I can see why you think that, because from the beginning you can see that he was the only one that was not maybe like the nice guy, but he was doing it because he had a different purpose. He wasn't just there to kill whoever. Like, you know how some people just like, oh, kill that guy or whatever. And this guy was like, no, I don't know, but I have to, because it's like I need to do this to be where I need to be at. But yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot. So we have a couple more comments here. Oh, that steamy scene. Thoughts on that?
That was unexpected. I was like, whoa, okay.
I blame David.
This is happening now.
I blame David for that, because he was like, this is I was like already thinking in my head, oh, I'm gonna read this to my future kids. You know, it's a great story to read to my kids. And then we get to that part, and I was like, no.
Also, it's a very dark story to read to your kids. Like, and everyone died.
Yeah, because the way somewhere, I can't remember where I heard this, but somebody was like, yeah, he wanted, to write a bedtime story basically to read to his son. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I saw how violent it was. And then we got to the sex scene, and I'm like, well, I'm not reading this to my kids as a bedtime story, but when they're, older, they can read it. But there's a line in there. It was like Zuri said, told him to come, and he did. Like, come with him.
Like,
and it was just, oh,
right.
Okay.
Like, say no more.
I mean, if you put it like that, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Well.
Is it me or Tao was like scared the whole time though?
Yeah, but aren't you the first time? Like, I think it was a good way, like the way that sometimes authors describe, like, go about sex scenes is very, like, it feels like either it's too much or it's like that's not how it happens. But I feel like this was a good, like, the right amount of explicitness and mystique about the whole thing, and that feeling, that dread that one has, because we're humans.
It would have been.
I was gonna say like some authors do struggle with writing like a sex scene, and this was, I feel like it wasn't like perfect, but it was good and awkward, like it usually is. Like, it's like kind of like, oh, what the heck is going on? Oh, this is actually happening, and then it just goes. He went through the flow, and I feel like it kind of reminds you of like coming to age story, and I feel like this kind of could be a coming to age story.
I think it was good character development, because it shows you Tao focuses on nothing but killing. So we have this other very human, regular thing that humans do,
and
he has no idea. He's just like, what is she doing? What's happening? Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, let's, okay. And it's like, you could just see, he focuses on one thing. So he can enjoy this, but then his mind is just the one place. I'm glad they had the night together though, before she passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even then, he was still kind of not letting go of the whole thing. Because remember when she tried shaving him, he was like, well, what are you doing? Like, no.
Yeah, he still had his reflexes. Okay, let's see. If you had to describe this book or storyline to a non-fantasy reader, muggle, how would you describe it? I would say it's somebody who doesn't read fantasy. I'll just tell them, look, this is a story of revenge. There's magic in it. It's not the entire focus. What we're really focusing on, a story of a young man who has been through a lot, and he's trying to work as hard as he can to avenge that. And
I think one really good selling point you have this to sort of like entice your non-fantasy reader friends, is that they will have, from the outside, they will think fantasy equals Tolkien, because it's like a thing. It's like the most known thing. So if you tell them that it is an African-inspired fantasy, they'll be like, oh, interesting. So I think that could also be a good selling point.
And a lot of death.
I think, the biggest one would be for me, like, if you're non-fantasy or you're fantasy and you just want something totally different, something that just, it's not like I said last time, it's not like Everwinter created like this whole new genre. Like, it's just a different cultural vibe, just makes the story so much better.
It's pretty unique too. Like, going with Mazda said, it doesn't, in a way, it like you can tell it's a fantasy world, but it doesn't feel like a fantasy world at the same time because I feel like he doesn't really rely too much on the magic system, even though it's there. Because
It's the setting, yeah. It's so good. It's like what I said. You have this, like, our brain is like a very powerful. The way I think about this is because I'm a nerd. The way I think about this is the brain is a really good engine, like a computer engine, and it's processes everything and creates this environment. So if you read a really known world in fantasy, the setting is there, so you just load. Like from your back catalog of worlds, it's like, oh yeah, this one, boom. But this one is so different to everything that we've known in fantasy that it feels unique.
For sure. And I noticed two comparisons that I've seen a lot before I had read it. I think it's the blurb in the back. It says like a mix between Game of Thrones and Gladiator. And I definitely agree with the Gladiator part. Not so much with the Game of Thrones, other than there's magic and
dragons. Is the only thing
that's it.
Dragon and Death, like
people always throw in Game of Thrones because they think that'll make it sell. They're like, oh, it's just like Game of Thrones because magic and dragons. And this is like, it's not really the same.
Maybe use another analogy. It's not really.
As soon as I can't talk. As soon as she said she wanted to help him with the bath, I knew it was going down. Yeah. Agree.
But you know what? That scene also lets us see more of Tao and like how the lessers live and how the gifted and the nobles live. Because he was like, "Holy snap! Why do you need such a big tub just for one person?"
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she had
really good world building there. Yeah,
glorious bathtub. And then let's see. I honestly read this book off you guys talking about it. I was interested and finished it in one sitting. Nice. I'm glad we can inspire other people to read this.
That's the whole point, awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Correction. Nice. He finished it in one night. He was telling me about this.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
That's impressive, but yeah, it's like I had to stop and start reading another book because it was so good. You just you want to keep going.
All right. We were talking about things, negative things, I think, at this point.
Yeah, things to maybe change or tell, like constructed feedback for Mr. Winter.
The only, I guess, major criticism I had was just in the first 100 pages. And this is such a nitpicking thing. Like, I wasn't emotionally invested. Like, the action kind of shoved me through the story. It seemed like it went by fast. But I didn't care until page 114. And I just wish there was something, give me something in the first chapter with a little more emotion. This one starts with the scene, that takes place hundreds of years ago, which is kind of cool for the world building, but also as a reader, you're kind of like, well, what's going on? Like, where am I and why do I care? And I wish there was something, I don't know, maybe a little early on that would have hooked me.
I have to agree with you. I said that the beginning was not the strongest for me. You get really quickly through it, but I think it's a combination of too overwhelming, too much information, and everything happening at the same time, and also the fact that we've got and then 100 years passed. So I don't have any connection. I don't feel connected to any characters that have been introduced to us. It's like reading a second introduction kind of thing. So again, it comes down to your personal preferences, but I would change, maybe make it shorter, maybe just omit it altogether. But it works in the story for some people. I think Daniel, you quite liked the beginning, so you see, you get like preferences.
I don't know. There's something about it that was just so. I love being there's how to say this. There's the pros and cons of like starting a book with a huge fight scene. The pros is like, oh my gosh, this is going so fast. The cons is like, why is it going fast? Like, what's happening? Who's dying? Who are these people? Do I care if they live or die? Are they important? That's like the thing about it. But I think it's because I keep mentioning it, but Red Rising, the beginning, the first book, it goes a bit slow and then it goes kind of fast at the same time. And I kind of wish it went a little faster. And I guess that with every book, I kind of wish it goes that way. Because when a book just like, I feel like when a book, and it's because I mostly see this on YA. I'm not saying YA is bad, YA is good, but like, I feel like sometimes it takes too much time. And it's just like it's like literally the last 100 pages where it's like something's happening and we have to wait till the next book. So yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with David and Paulo. The first 100 pages, and it's a lot. 100 pages is quite a bit. It's kind of like, get on with it. Because I was, like you said, I wasn't really invested with it. I was just like, okay, come on. Because there's no like character development. It's just throwing names out there, and it's like you're not connected to any characters. But it's hard to do. And since it was his first novel, I feel like it was good, but yeah, that's the only thing that he would. I feel like the book could have been a little bit better if the beginning was slightly more character driven instead of just. He should have been focusing on Tal since the beginning. I feel like he was, but he was going a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, I would have omitted it and maybe put like little more, because throughout the story we see references to what happened in the past. So if you were to put small inferences to that thing and omit that first scene, but again, it's a really good show of like your abilities as a writer to write a good fight. But yeah, for me, it's like I'm thinking. For me, it's like do you know that last scene in Infinity War? And I don't know if you guys like Marvel. You know, like a big last scene. Everyone is like Captain America with a hammer and everything. And then you imagine knowing nothing and being dropped in that battle, and you're like, that's kind of like what? And
on your left, and then you're
in
like,
a way,
who is that?
in a way, it's kind of like. It would have been better if he did it like what he did with when Zuri was telling the story about like the gods and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But again, preface like it's more of a. It doesn't take away from the book. It's not a major drawback, I would say. Just like nitpicky, a bit pedantic about that.
Yeah, for sure, nitpicky thing. But I will point out, it's really impressive. This was his debut novel, which is amazing. And then let's see. I've said a criticism. I think Maza has. Pablo, did you have anything?
No, I think the main thing is that beginning. Well, just from what you were saying about this being his debut novel, I've got this really toxic trait of comparing myself to debut authors and thinking I would never be able to do that. Like, I haven't been published. They weren't published. Like Joe Abercrombie, the Blade itself was his first book. I'm like, how do you even? How? But yeah, it's really, really, really good. And that's not really a criticism. So this is the wrong section of the video. Sorry. My main one was the beginning. That's really the main issue, if you will.
Well, I think your criticism is that these debut authors need to relax because they're setting the bar too high. So
yeah, it's like Abercrombie, just chill, guys.
Relax.
The one thing I do have to say, though, I kind of, in a way, it's necessary because like it's the beginning of the book, and since there's only gonna be 4 books, he kind of puts a lot of characters to you. Like you have to like remember all these characters at once and like their names and then what they do and who they're friends with and all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty common first book in a fantasy series. They usually, it's like.
Oh, are you still with us, David?
Oh, that was just me.
We have this new world. We're back. Okay.
Technical difficulties. Oh,
nifty. Are you guys still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see all of you guys.
Yeah, I think we're good. It was a moment there.
But
this is what happens when you talk bad about the Rage of Dragons.
Yeah, it's like
there's
hackers here.
Daniel, I don't know. I agree with you that there's a lot of characters at the beginning. Like you don't know who is who. But if you ever pick up a Game of Thrones, I feel like you'll see what a lot of characters.
I was just thinking about that, man. I was thinking there's like 25 characters in the first chapter of Game of Thrones.
That was my first problem. That was my problem with Game of Thrones too. Yeah. Like, so many people.
I literally had to write the names down. Like, I went, okay, so who's this? Oh yeah, Stable Boy, and who's like I had to write it down.
But the thing is that they come out like for like a paragraph in page 60, and then in page 540 they're like, what the heck is this? And then you're like, oh, I had an app for that because I was like, I'm not about to do this. But I'm talking about character. Yeah, there's an app. There's a Game of Thrones wiki. You just look up the character and it tells you what house they belong
Nice.
to, and yeah.
But
I'm
in
not
your guys'
surprised.
books,
Isn't
does
much
it have
needed.
sorry.
So, go on.
Does the books and always I noticed in the back of the Game of Thrones books they always have like the appendix and it has like all the character stuff like that.
Like the houses, yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine does, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the only thing.
Well, you have the first illustrated one. That's cool.
I read it a long time ago, but
It's my battered
that was the
copy.
one thing that makes me like I mean it's a fun, entertaining story, but the characters is just like bam, 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 bam. It's like okay, chill.
I like that's how you know you love your Game of Thrones, Paulo. Song of Ice and
What?
Fire. So that's how you know you like your Song of Ice and Fire because it's all
Yeah.
beat up.
It's
look,
like,
look,
look
look,
at
that's
that.
so bad.
Yeah.
Hey!
It's so nice.
So
This
now this is
picture-
a nice Song of Ice and Fire live stream. We finished
Oh,
with
yeah, Rage of
Rage
Dragons, that's
and
a
now
thing.
it's just... It
Yeah,
was
I have
a
the little mass
complicated
market
ploy
one.
to talk about Game of Thrones.
It's a trap now that we got you here.
But talking about the characters, did any of you dislike what he did with Jabari? Like, I felt like Jabari was up here. Like,
It was
he
misused.
was like,
Misused?
yeah,
Underused kind of thing. Not
yeah. I
misused,
felt like
underused.
Jabari was like, yeah, like Jabari was just put in the bench. Like, you go sit in the bench, bro. Like, you're
And
not,
he
you're
popped
not.
out of nowhere.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like,
he's-
what does he like? He doesn't really bring to the story. I at least,
It brought like a tiny moment of hesitation in Tao and that the whole thing where they went into the house, but I feel like you could have done something much more powerful with Jabari, not just a tiny oh hello there
Mhm.
bye, and
He was
you know,
very
like,
underwhelming.
I guess what he, in defense of Evan Winter, I guess what he was doing and the most useful writing tool about Jabari is that he provides contrast. Because you see at the beginning, he can whoop Tao's ass. He's the better fighter. But Tao has been through so much and has trained so hard for so long that he is ridiculously better than Jabari. Jabari, just regular dude who was supposed to be better, is now all the way down here. And you see them fighting next to each other, and he's almost a nuisance because Tao's like, I have to save your life while fighting these people. And
I
he's
noticed that. Yeah.
Mm.
Because doesn't it feel like with Tao's I don't know if it's Tao's perspective, but like when you see Jabari, he's down there now. It's like, oh, you just popped out of nowhere.
Mhm. Let's see. He was
I feel like oh sorry.
No, I was going to read this comment. He was underused. He
Yeah, go
could have
ahead.
been a great mentor. Yeah, that could have been an interesting use
I
of him.
thought my prediction for Jabari was that he was going to become the arch nemesis.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, it's like that. It gives you like okay, it's a bit, but I do see why. Like your point on like how it was nothing. It would like it not even a consideration. That's how good Tao became. And recently, I came across this new concept of progression fantasy, like a sub-genre of fantasy, and I feel like this book fits in it because we see like it's like Tao building up the ability and the skill, and it's a big part of it, and it feels like a video game. Like you're leveling up your character.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like my only concern with that is that there's 4 books, and he is this strong already. And it's like, okay, yeah, the next book he'll learn to kill demons in the demon realm. But it's like we got 2 books after that. At what point is he just going to be he's going to be OP, way too powerful? Or
it's going to be interesting how he handles power escalation. Definitely, yeah.
Did you guys think he was going to kill Kellen during that battle with the coup? Because I thought he was going to kill him for some reason.
Oh yeah, yeah, he could have. He definitely could have. So when they have the skirmish and Tao faces Kellen,
Right. What car?
Yeah, he's toying with him. It's like the Viper versus the Mountain. He's playing with his food, and because he took so long playing, he missed his chance. And and it's like, man, I thought for sure he was going to kill him, and then he didn't. And I was like, well, okay, at least he proved that he was the better fighter. He could have killed him if he wanted to, if he didn't want to play with him, basically.
But I think what Jabari helped me with was I think they're called case or cas, because there's a lot in the book. Because at first I thought it was just the nobles and like the gifted and stuff, but no, it's like the queen, then the royal nobles, and the gifted, and the Ingoyama, the greater nobles, the petty nobles, which is Jabari, and then we have the Hashi, the high governor, and then it's like a whole list of people. Like, no, you're down here, bro. And I wonder if he's gonna make more use of the drudge because they're at the way bottom. I wonder if someone's gonna come out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, I'm a drudge, but I can still kick your butt."
Yeah,
I wish I would have known about that appendix at the beginning of the book. It would have made things so much easier.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I would love to see a drudge character in the next novel, to have him rise up and be his like right hand man or something, and be like he started from the very bottom.
I feel like we're going to see some of that. There was some hints of like unrest, like civil unrest, when the lessers don't win. Wait, what, don't win? Yeah, they didn't win because of that thing. Like Jaya jumps in, like, don't stop, no more, and people are like. So I think there's going to be definitely going to be a revolution of some sort.
Yeah, I think this. Sorry, they were talking about some lessers were actually hanged because of the skirmishes. Some of them started trying to fight back. Just watching the event, like this isn't even actual war, and then they're fighting in the streets already. So that's, I'm sure, a nice little taste of what's to come. Hi. Hello. And then, real quick, when Jayad died, I remember that actually, I think that hit me more than any death in the book. I don't know if that was the same for anybody
Remember,
else.
I told you guys. I don't know why I felt like that he was going to be the one.
Yeah, you were right.
You predicted that.
Yeah, you did. Also, I predicted, not to take away, the spotlight from Maza, but I said right at the beginning, like it was 20 pages in or something, Tao is going to be the champion. Anyway, I was going to say, Jayed, when he died, it was well handled. Like it was a good moment. A good moment to die, if there's any. But like it was, like it was powerful. Like, yeah, you need to die. No, it was good, and it seems like there's this theme that everyone that is dear to Tao, they just go, which is very sad, but also it keeps fueling this vengeance in him.
Adding to that, I agree, because I feel like Winters doesn't just kill anybody just for the heck of it. There's a reason and there's a consequence. When someone dies, something will happen, and it's not always good.
Because that's the scene where we see the different POV, and I feel like it was such a good use because you know who that. I think she referred to him as a tiny man or something, and then she refers to Tao as a tiny man with two swords, and then you just see it from her point of view. You're seeing what the enemy sees, like this like demon child just coming at you, killing everybody like nothing, and it's like, oh, she's like kind of scared, like she's like, oh snap, he's coming. So I'm like, she dipped, she left, and I was like, no, why did you leave?
That's so good when she said, I am the head splitter, whatever, I am the best warrior, and I'm fucking out of here. No, I'm not doing this. Bye.
Yep.
That was so good. I mean, good in the sense, I wanted to see them fight, but it was a good, funny moment, and it really shows like how good Tao is with the swords.
Book 2?
Yep. Just real quick, you were painting that picture of Tao running at her with the two swords, and she's like, oh, he's going to die before he reaches me. And he's cutting them all down, and she's like, oh, he's almost here. And she's like, I run from no man. And then she noped right the fuck out of there. And she was like, he is no man. He's a monster or a demon or whatever. And then she was gone.
Yeah, like she's trying to like redeem herself by saying, yeah, that was not a man, that was like a demon. So I
Yeah. Okay.
Foreshadowing much?
Yeah. All right. Was there a place?
Lord of Demons.
Yeah. Was there a place you would have liked to visit, or a person you'd like to meet from the book? That's a good question.
Not Tao.
Not Tao.
I do not want to. It's like
absolutely not.
Yeah. I would say for me, Hadith would be the coolest to go out and get a beer with. He seemed like a people person that knew how to just have a good time and just kick it. What do you guys think?
There's a really good, funny moment with Hadith. It's like one line, and there's like. Hadith is talking to a noble, and then he says, "Oh yeah," and then only 25% survive, and then the noble is like, "No, you mean 25% will face me?" And Hadith is like, "That is exactly what I said." And it's just like a funny little joke, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I laughed at that one too.
I think I would like, even though you guys would not, I would like to meet Tao just so I could be his right hand man. You know, like the one that his kind of like his sidekick. Like, and then the place that I would like to go, and I know it's gonna sound so dark, but this is from a Stephen King fan. I would like to go with him and train at the demon world and see what the heck that's all about. Because to think that you could like witness death and then come back with nothing happening to you, it's something I feel like no human will ever know what it feels like to die and then be like, oh, I'm chill though. I'm here.
I agree with the demon world. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say he'll be a good coach. Like he'll make you train hard.
I agree with the demon world, but I think I'll just be right in the background so the demons don't see me. I just want to see what they look like.
So you'd be a gifted.
Yeah.
Gifted
shroud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that reminds me, Tao is like the Michael Jordan of killing, right? So if you hear the inspirational Michael Jordan stories where he's like, I never stop training, and if somebody beats me at something, we'll keep playing until I win. I feel like training with Tao would be like that. Which, I mean, Maz, that's a good point, that he'd be an amazing teacher. You would get really good, for sure.
Especially when
I'm like
lose.
Daniel though.
Yeah.
I'll go chill somewhere. I'll go chill with, like, I don't know, the gifted, or like go with Uduak and you know, to quench his thirst. I do not want to like no.
It would just suck because even if after we would win our little scrimmages, we'd be like, "Oh, you guys can go, you know, like drink, like you said." But no, Tao's gonna go train. Like, man, can we just go for the one time? And like, no, you gotta train. It's like, oh, okay.
Let me chill one day, man. Just one day. Like, no. Okay, we could talk a little bit about predictions. Predictions for the next book. I think that Tao will learn how to kill demons. He will have some.
I think you not.
He said the word demons, and that's what happened.
Demons again. They're coming for him. Oh no! Quick, fill in the awkward silence. Game of Thrones. It's a good book.
You should read it.
Yeah. Yes, guys, read Game of Thrones.
Besides the awkward stuff that happens.
Oh, have you heard that they're gonna do? Oh my god, they're gonna do a Broadway. They're gonna do like a theater adaptation of Game of Thrones.
You mean like an X-rated thing? Because
I don't know, but oh no, David's gone
completely.
This is a tragedy. I'm guessing.
Follow the light.
Oh no, the live is still on, so he'll probably he'll join. He's got the link. I mean, he's the host. Anyone wants to be the host? Anyone want to do a coup here? And so, guys, I'm taking over David's channel. Okay, this is the big reveal. I am David now. Breaking Dragons.
Let's just keep going though with the predictions.
Let's stay this for a while. No, I feel like whilst David, like while we wait him joining back, we can talk about the predictions that we said that
we made,
yeah, and that we didn't. But some of them were completely wrong. But but some of them were good. I can't remember. Like, do you remember the predictions that we did?
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, go ahead. I think I said mine already, Daniel. Where I said that the coach was going to die. What did you say?
I said Tao was gonna kill everybody, but I mean, I honestly thought Tao. Oh, is he back?
Just a quick catch up. We're talking about the predictions.
He went to the underworld real quick.
He went to Ishihara, right?
Yeah.
The demons got you.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the predictions that we did for the second half of the book, and then and then we'll move on to the second one. But yeah.
I wanted to say the whole thing with Jabari thinking that, oh, he's going to be the villain, right? And then like when Jabari comes back, it's like he's not even a threat. He's just there, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
But yeah, I can't remember. I think it was just the champion one, and Maza, you said about Jayed dying. I said something about Jabari that was wrong. I thought he was going to be the main arch nemesis, and that was.
Because I think I also mentioned that I was rooting for Zuri and him to end up together because I like that relationship.
Yeah.
And kind of it happened, but then it's like no, Masa, your prediction sucks. Get out of here, and then it went out the window.
We said something about a love triangle there with Jabari and Zuri, which was completely wrong as well. It's just funny to see this kind of things after the fact, after the book is done.
But I also feel like Winters, like we will have our theories, but then he's gonna be like, no, you're all wrong. Everything you say is wrong. Everything you think is just wrong. I'm not playing by the rules. That's.
It's like that scene where he bashes in the Lekken's head and is like, oh, okay. So there is no long-winded vengeance. Like you completely subverted all of the trope. All of them, not all of them, but like a good chunk of them.
But all the scenes where we think that he's gonna like kill the person, like I get left so unsatisfied. Like both of them with Jahad and Colin, it's like, is that name the other guy, Helad or whatever? I was left so unsatisfied. I was like, why didn't he just kill him? Like what? And I don't know. It was just me though.
Well, you mean like Jayed when Jayed and Tao fight?
Yeah, and then also Lenken or whatever. Like he didn't kill any of them. It's like I wanted to see blood from Tao's sword.
I want to see blood,
like vengeance blood, and then he just leaves
it. True King fan.
Yeah. I think another thing that I'm looking forward to, I want to see what they do with the Guardians. What's going to happen with the dragons? They can't keep them prisoner, right? Is Tao going to earn their respect, and is he going to fly? I just want to see him fly a dragon. Like, I think that's what it comes down to. But maybe he'll take one. They're supposed to belong in the demon realm, so maybe he'll take one back to that realm. I don't know, but I want to see. I'm really curious to see what they do with the dragons in the next one.
If anybody can do it, it would be Tao, definitely.
Yeah.
Will we have dragon riders?
Oh,
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
So for predictions, like I think the only prediction that I have, and this is coming to because we kind of left the ending like limbing there. Well, maybe we can leave it to the end. I feel like I don't know why, but maybe because it's like more like a emotional type of thing. I feel like maybe, just maybe, Tao will be able to bring Zuri back. I don't know how or when or that's me. Maybe just wishful thinking, but that's my only prediction I'm gonna give. Yeah, like maybe he'll be able to bring her back. Who knows?
Oh my god! What if? Right. Hear me out. What if tinfoil hat? What if they like he goes to Ishihago and he starts fighting demons, and then he finds Zuri in demon form, and he's like, "I know you're a demon, but I can sense you're Zuri." Just throwing it out there.
It's good.
It's my tinfoil hat prediction.
And he won't be able to kill her either. Maybe that's why Jabari will come back and he'll be the one to kill her because he knows her, but he doesn't care as much as Tao. And then,
or then he dies and becomes Lord of the Demons. This is going to be completely on.
We're going way out there.
But do you guys think, like thinking about the fourth book, do you think Tao's going to have a happy ending, or just it's going to be completely just grim? What do you guys think?
I don't know. It's too hard to say. I think it feels like a Rocky story where I feel like it will have a happy ending, only because a lot of times it reminds me of Rocky, the boxing movie where he's training and has to, seek revenge and beat this opponent. It has that kind of feeling like there's going to be a big victory at the end. But at least it's just what I think. What do you guys think?
Well, I personally like endings that because usually when I read, I hate endings where it's like, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to be the one that's going to be the way that ends up. I like endings where like I don't see it coming, but it leaves room for like closure. Like it leaves no room for like anything. No, this happened and this is it. Like someone's like, but what about? No, it's like, no, this happened and that's how it happened. So if it's bad, I really don't care. If Tao dies at the end, I feel like I would care. But if everybody else dies but Tao, I'll be kind of content.
I want to see if he is fulfilled by attaining this vengeance. I want to see if he fights and kills this person. I'm blanking on his name. Odili, I think it is. I want to see if that of killing him will bring him peace. I doubt it, but I want to see that sort of arc finishing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there's any goals that I'm rooting for, it's definitely for Tao to get his revenge on Odili, and then realize that he still has. Once you have the rage, it doesn't go away. He's still going to have that, and then maybe he can bring equality to the lessers, and maybe that's merging them with the Hedeni. Maybe everybody joins together. Basically, he will achieve peace in some way for their nations, either coexisting as two separate ones or all together. He'll get his revenge and achieve peace is what I'm rooting for.
You're right. So, because we really don't know what happened to Odili. Because after Suri died, we don't know if the dragon ended up killing him. At least I don't remember.
I think he left and wait. I think we find out. I think
Zavari.
I thought he ran away.
Went to Palm City, and then they have like another government. There's like a
oh yes, you're right. So at the
society,
very end, they tell us yes, you're right.
Some family, some cousin of the queen.
They took the sister. Yeah, they took the sister.
The sister, not the cousin, the sister.
Yeah, and so he's starting his own version. He's saying that's the real capital now.
Right. And this is.
Yeah.
Is it me, or is it felt like so much like a movie ending? Like it's just like building up, and then it ends just like right there on Tao's face or something.
And that's a good segue to like talking about the ending. We cannot go away without talking about that ending. Wow.
It's not Tao. It's not the Tao we started with.
It's that scene. That scene with the Ingonyama. So good. It's a whole build up from the beginning. That fight with Aren, the dad, and the Ingonyama. That it is such a well realized climax for Tao. That fight with the Ingonyama, and then coming in, I really liked when he came in, and then the vizier, like there's all this protocol about the queen and everything, and he's like, "Shut up! I'm talking to the queen." And then the old lady is like, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "Shut up." But yeah, it's a really good climax for Tao.
Hey, now that you mentioned the Ingonyama, I know you left predictions in the bag, but are we going to see Tao as an Ingonyama? Like, is he going to be the first one? Because remember, he could have become one if he would have gotten so many kills in the little Olympic games they have. That'd be so cool to see him enraged. Imagine an enraged demon enraged more.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
That would be cool to see.
I thought we were going to see it in this one almost, when they would bring it up and they were like, oh, a lesser can be an Ingonyama if you win the competition or if you have the most kills or whatever. I was like, oh, are we going to see that? I thought maybe Zuri would be his person, like maybe he gets to pick or something. None of that happened, of course, but maybe we'll get to see it in the second one. I think that would be really cool. And then, yeah, just the fight against the Ingonyama was amazing. Just seeing like he is overpowered, but he still finds a way to win. He fights him until the entreater literally burns out like a candle, and then he finishes off the dude. It was so impressive as far like just seeing what kind of warrior he is. That was awesome.
And it was no common entreater as well. This was like the queen of the gifted. This was like I forgot the title, the card something. This was like top gifted. It was so good, and I really liked when it was like a good yes moment when they're fighting, they're repelling, they're trying to keep the Odili's men away from the queen, and then they have to go and get the queen, and Callan is like, well, this dude just said go to the queen, and then he says, you go, you are the better fighter, you go, you be the champion. And it's like,
100%, yeah. Like that, like he's saying, yeah, I got my butt whipped by you. You are the better fighter.
Also shows how good of a character like the Kellen is. Like we see, like he didn't kill his father. He, as a noble, understand like being able to recognize you are the better fighter. there's like growth in this character. I feel like we need to give him more credit to Kellen. He's a really, really good character.
I think he definitely won some points with me when he did that, when he was able to be like, no, Tao's the better fighter. And I was like, he doesn't have an ego. He wants to do all this stuff, but he's not super. He's a realist, and I like that for sure.
Are you talking about the Kaid? The Pablo, you're talking about the Kaid, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her death was kind of woof.
But have you guys noticed that in every series there's like a FU word? For example, I think here is like burn you, and then if you've seen the 100, it's like float yourself, and then there's a bunch of them. And here is like burn, like.
Oh man, love the 100. Yeah, there's like I like how in fantasy books you have like your own swear words. In Sanderson book in Stormlight it's storm you, and here it's that kind of, it's cool. It's like, I don't know, it's a good world building thing, and yeah, I feel like everyone has put that. I have put that in my own work in progress, like own swear words. It's like a staple of the genre, I think.
Nice.
Okay, I kind of feel like, I know this is odd, but I kind of feel like it reminds me so much in Hunger Games when Katniss says, "If we burn, you burn with us." Just all of chaos. That's what reminds.
The revolution.
It's really similar to the war cry of the Lessers. What was it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah, you're right.
I can't remember, but that was a cool war cry that they had. And then I can imagine in a movie or something, they say the line, and then the whole, everybody in the audience is saying it back. Like you have the whole crowd around the stadium, they all shouting it back. And
you can imagine that scene, one person saying it and then like 100 repeating it. It's like this epic moment, yeah.
But if we're talking about I can't say his name, Kaed.
The old
one that wanted to be the champion. Yeah, the one that wanted to be the champion. But now that Tao's the champion, Kellen, sorry. Doesn't that mean that Tao can now be the, what do they call it? The lover of the queen. So isn't that going to bring some little like a little tension, because that's what Kaed was going for, because he was in love with the queen, and now the queen might be able to get with Tao, and it's like
that end scene where he, like, the queen is like, can you please be the champion, and it's like, no, I'm depressed, let me be. And she's like, you're gonna be the champion. And the thing that takes him away from depression, I think, is a good like Tao moment. It's like, it's not acceptance, it's not loyalty, it's not none of that, it's vengeance. And it's a really good transition into, well, the second book, Fires of Vengeance. So yeah,
I really like how he became like officially her champion at the end. But Maza does bring up a good point. They're supposed to breed basically to produce the best fighters or the best warriors or whatever. But after he just watched the love of his life get burned to death by a dragon, I don't know how much he's going to want to breed right away. I don't know how he's going to feel about that. And
also probably Kelling has something to say about that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, you don't even love her. Like, if we're just changing all these rules.
Prediction, love triangle. Once again, let's see if finally we get a love triangle.
We'll get one. We will get coming. One.
Yes. All right. Any last thoughts that we want to throw out there before we end the discussion? Anything that really sticks out to anybody?
It's a really, really good
book. Yep, I would say definitely. If for some reason you haven't read it and then you watch the stream, highly recommend. It is a really good. I feel like even if you're not into fantasy, it doesn't focus on that too much. It's really a story about revenge and hard work and motivation and things like that. Highly recommend.
Yeah, like I definitely recommend it if you're like in a reading slump and you want to pick something that you know you're gonna walk away and you're gonna feel so invigorated. Like honestly, I haven't picked up the second book, but I'm left like I always bring it up, the Pablo Escobar meme, where I'm just like waiting, because it leaves you so like, I was really like emotionally invested in this book that when I finished it, I was like, what do I do with myself now? Like I felt like something was just taken away from me, and it was a big old chunker. So like it's, I don't know, it was like I felt so immersed in the story, like it's that good of a story.
I recommended it too. It's so refreshing to read because it's a fantasy story, but it's not, well, it kind of is and isn't at the same time. It's just, everything feels kind of new, and it's just really fun and depressing.
Yeah. the one thing, gyms are opening back in the UK in Monday. We were still in lockdown, but yeah, the things are opening back up in Monday, and I'm going to be thinking, like, I'm going to be, in the gym thinking the motivational speeches from Tao. You get what the work that I can't remember anything, but yeah,
you get out what you put in.
Yeah, or like pain. I'm gonna give you pain. He's gonna be shouting in the gym.
Yeah. What's your name? I'm Death. Like,
People looking at me. What's that runner with the dumbbells doing? And I'm like,
yeah, I'm going to the gym after this because the gyms have opened back up over here. We all pumped up. Yes. All right, guys. This was a great live stream. I think I've had a great time talking to you guys. Thank you for everybody who participated in the comments.
A lot of fun.
You guys are awesome. I will link.
Yeah, stay tuned for this because I'm pretty sure we're doing this again, right, guys? Like for the second book, the third.
We have to now. I mean, you've manifested it.
Yeah,
now we have to,
most definitely.
It's out there.
And then I'll put the links to all your guys' channels in the description below for anybody who's going to come and watch this replay. I'll just leave it up, and then yeah.
Cool.
All right. So until next time.
Good.
All right.
See you, everyone.
Later.
Guys, peace.
Peace.